The rise and fall of the People's Club of Nigeria. The birth of a brotherhood, 1971 to 1980s. The streets of ABA were still recovering from the scars of war when a group of visionary Igbo businessmen gathered in a dimly lit hall in 1971. Nigeria had barely emerged from the devastation of the Civil War, and the Igbo people, once known for their economic prowess, were struggling to rebuild. Among them was Chief Titus I. Uemi Ezeok, a man who believed that unity was the key to revival. "Brothers," he said, looking around the room, "we cannot afford to walk alone anymore. If we rise, we must rise together." That night, the People's Club of Nigeria was born. It was more than just a club, it was a brotherhood, a lifeline for Igbo businessmen seeking to regain their footing in a world that had nearly crushed them. The club's motto, unity, love, and service, became their guiding light, and in the years that followed, their influence spread like wildfire. At first, membership was small, limited to a handful of successful traders, professionals, and industrialists. But as the economy improved, the People's Club became the ultimate status symbol. If you were wealthy, ambitious, and influential, you had to be a member. To be seen at a People's Club event was to be recognized as a person of importance. The Golden Age, 1980s to 2000s. By the 1980s, the People's Club had transformed into a powerhouse of wealth and influence. Lavish gatherings were held in grand hotels, where men in tailored suits sipped champagne and discussed business deals that would shape entire industries. The club was no longer just an association, it was a movement. As the years passed, its reach extended beyond Nigeria's borders. Onitsha, Lagos, Enugu, Port Harcourt, branches sprang up everywhere. And then came the international expansions: Houston, Washington, D.C., London, Toronto. No matter where an Igbo businessman found himself, he was never alone. The club ensured that every member had a network, a safety net, and a family. Membership came with immense privileges. If a businessman needed capital, his fellow members would pool resources to assist him. If a member died, the club ensured that his family was cared for. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, no event was complete without the presence of the People's Club. The club embodied the age-old Igbo philosophy of "Onye agonamwonya," never leave your brother behind. At its peak, the People's Club was the place to be. The events were legendary, high-life bands played into the early hours of the morning, and members paraded their wealth with pride. Money flowed like palm wine at a village festival. It was a golden era, and for many, it felt like it would never end. Cracks in the empire, 2000s to 2010s. But nothing lasts forever. The first signs of trouble came as internal conflicts began to brew. The unity that had once been the club's greatest strength started to erode as leadership struggles turned bitter. Some members, hungry for power, began to undermine others. Factions emerged, each claiming to be the rightful heart of the club. Then came the changing times. The new generation of wealthy Nigerians had different interests. The grand social clubs of their fathers no longer appealed to them. Instead, they turned to modern business networks, tech-driven partnerships, and global organizations that offered more than just extravagant parties. Competition also played a role in the club's decline. New elite groups, professional associations, and religious organizations began to attract the same businessmen who once made up the People's Club. The financial backing that once sustained the club started to dwindle. Meetings became less frequent. Once thriving branches went quiet. The clubhouses that had been filled with laughter and music became ghosts of their former selves. The fall and the legacy, 2010s present. By the 2010s, the People's Club of Nigeria was a shadow of what it had been. Many of its members had aged, and without fresh blood to sustain it, the organization slowly faded from public consciousness. Some branches struggled to keep the tradition alive, but the energy, the fire, the passion, it was gone. Yet, despite its decline, the legacy of the People's Club endures. It was more than just a social club, it was a symbol of resilience, a testament to what could be achieved when people stood together. Even today, in small pockets around the world, old members still gather, clinking glasses, reminiscing about the golden days, and whispering about what once was. The People's Club may no longer hold the power it once did, but its story remains one of brotherhood, ambition, and the inevitable march of time. And somewhere, in the heart of an aging club member, a question lingers: could it ever rise again?